Welcome to my channel, Descubre y Crea. This interview space a fuego lento, where our guests will tell us about the entrepreneurship. Today, I am pleased welcome to Lynda.
Hola.
Welcome, Lynda. Thank you very much for joining us today. To start, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
My name is Lynda Heffernan. I'm Irish, although in my family we say Swirish.
Oh, yeah?
Irish based in Switzerland. So we're Swirish.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've been here almost 18 years. So,
Wow.
yeah, a long time. And I'm a mum and an entrepreneur, a fun person, a serious person.
Yes.
A good friend, I hope.
What do you do professionally?
I work as a behavioral scientist in two specific areas, as an executive leadership coach and as a therapist specializing in cognitive behavioral therapy and hypnotherapy for executives.
For which situation do you recommend your service?
For two different types of situations. So for leaders in the executive world who want to build their executive brand, or for those who want to manage their stress so they can have a better executive brand. And then for those in my therapeutic practice, for those who want to manage their stress and have a healthier lifestyle.
When did you decide to become an entrepreneur and why?
I think I've always really been an entrepreneur. Both of my parents are entrepreneurs. My family on both sides are entrepreneurs or business people. Even those who are involved in agriculture or medicine are business people and entrepreneurs. So it's always been there. I only spent about 6 years of my professional life working for organizations. And I think towards my late 20s, I decided, no, I wanted to work for myself. So since then, and since becoming a parent, I absolutely wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I haven't stopped since my early 30s.
Was difficult for you?
I think combining entrepreneurship with parenting in a foreign country has been very difficult. I became a single mom 12 years ago, and there's a lot of challenges associated with that in a foreign country. I'm a single mom with one child who has special needs, so that was particularly challenging. And I think for me, that's probably the most difficult part of it.
Yes, I imagine how much strong you are. Please, can you tell the name for your business?
The name of my business is A Kaizen Mind, which is a name inspired by my two great business loves, business and psychology. So Kaizen is actually a Japanese name.
Yeah.
Kai means change and Zen means for the better. And it's a business concept, which means making small incremental changes for a bigger overall change. So that's what I do in people's minds. I make small little changes, or I get them to make small little changes in their behavior, in their thinking, for a greater overall change. So that's where it came from.
Oh, that is nice. How long you working in Kaizen Mind? You start in Switzerland?
Started a Kaizen Mind in Switzerland. So that's
And where is the office?
I work at home in Blonay, and I have an office in Vevey.
Okay. Blonay, Vevey, and what about online?
Yes, I work online.
Oh, great.
Yeah. The majority of my business is international, so I travel for that when necessary. But most of my clients work online, and I've just recently opened a new practice in Vevey to meet my local clients' needs.
Oh, great. I will write all the information about your business.
Thank you.
Okay, please tell us more about Kaizen Mind.
So a Kaizen Mind is really a consultancy which can be about executive coaching for individuals or for companies. It can be about team coaching for companies. And I do that locally for international organizations, for local organizations, predominantly in English, but I
Yeah.
have worked in French when needed.
Yeah, you speak French.
Oui, je parle français.
Quick. Mhm.
I work mostly on my own, but I do have a collection of trusted colleagues with whom I also consult with and work with. Then I travel and do seminars and give talks on the Kaizen approach to the mind, to business. I also have a large training on stress management and resilience building, which I bring into organizations
Yeah.
and deliver online because I'm
Yeah.
trained in that area.
Perfect.
And then I've got my therapeutic practice, which is specific for executives. But what's happened in the past few years, Anna, is that the spouses and the teenage children of my executives have started using my therapeutic practice as well, which is great. You're all welcome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I
Mhm.
really, you know how long I'm looking for some people help me to feel confident to speak other language. You remember when I met with
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Finally, I start slow but I easy my way about
NLP.
NLP.
So NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, and really it's the coaching approach that's come from cognitive behavioral therapy. For me, NLP is very, very simple. It's about how we pay attention to our verbal language and our physical language, our body language. We notice it in ourselves, we notice it in others. We copy, we model, we replicate the best parts of what we notice in others, and we adopt it into ourselves to be a better version of ourselves.
Yeah.
That's my interpretation of
Uh-huh.
NLP. Other people have other interpretations.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm very simple in my approach to NLP, and language is the most important part of NLP for me. I'm very language sensitive, and I think we need to be very careful how we use language,
Yes.
especially in relation to confidence. Women, we speak really badly to ourselves.
Yes, I discovered that.
Yeah,
I discover.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we say things that are unkind, unhelpful. We bully ourselves. And we learn this language through parenting, other experiences in life, and we believe it. We tell it to our subconscious, and the subconscious is very powerful, but very primitive. You tell it enough, it will believe it. So that's what my version of NLP is.
Well, if you like to see the results,
It depends. It really depends. I usually like to offer 6 sessions.
okay.
Um, when I work in my therapeutic sessions, I call it cognitive behavioral therapy. But when I work in my executive work, I call it NLP because many executives in executive
Mhm.
coaching don't want the therapeutic label. So I call it different things depending on where and whom I'm working with.
Fantastic. I was kind with me. I am proud with me in the professional life,
Mhm.
but personal life is different story. I can understand.
Mm,
What do you think?
okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, first of all, but I'm very glad that you've worked on it. And it's a privilege to be here with you and to see you just in this confident, beautifully transformed setting.
Oh, thanks.
Privilege. Many of the clients that work with me who are women who present themselves as confident in the professional setting often speak to me about lacking in confidence in their personal self. And it's such a phenomenon that my colleagues and I have often spoken about, and Brene Brown, the great sociologist, has written so often about this. We don't know whether it's because they've been socialized to believe this or whether it's upbringing, but there is something very particular to women about not feeling good enough, not feeling enough within themselves internally. And we really need to work on this because if they're good enough professionally, they most certainly should be good enough personally. And just imagine,
Mm-hmm.
just imagine if they also felt good enough personally, what that could do for them. I mean, if we were able to be the best version of ourselves in our personal life, isn't that the most rewarding possible experience we could have for ourselves and for the others around us?
Okay.
And then we could show up professionally as a whole person.
Yeah.
I have a unusual approach to this.
Yeah.
Many therapists reflect heavily on the past and they bring their clients very much into the past. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about it because I'm curious about the context,
Yeah.
what maybe happened, but I'm more interested in the present right now.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do right now to change your belief about yourself, your thoughts about yourself, so that we can create a better future for yourself? It's called Adlerian psychology.
Ah, yeah.
Adler.
Uh-huh.
It's I think a healthier approach.
You speak about hypnosis. Can you tell us?
Yes, I'm a trained hypnotherapist. So a hypnotherapist is very different to a hypnotist. So that's somebody you see on stage turning people into chickens, which I don't do. I haven't done it for a very long. No, I don't do it at all. A hypnotherapist is a clinical practitioner who teaches people to go into a deep state of relaxation but remain fully conscious. I'm a cognitive behavioral hypnotherapist, which means I don't use trance at all. You are fully conscious, you are fully aware, you are fully present. You can stop it at any time you want, but my clients never have. So, what I'm doing is I'm taking the desired change my client wants to have, creating a script around that, putting my client into a deep state of relaxation, and then speaking the script to them so they're listening to the messaging about what they want. It's not
Mm-hmm.
about what I'm trying to tell them to do
Ah, yeah.
at all. It's about their language, what they want to achieve, and just repeating it to them. Very like NLP with positive language
Ah,
all
ooh
the
la
time.
la.
What you do want to achieve, what you will have, when you will have it, how you see yourself having it, a lot of visualization involved in
Mm-hmm.
it. Just a pleasant experience, but it's connected to the therapeutic work that I do.
Okay.
So I don't just bring people in and say, right, we'll have a hypnotherapy session. There's the cognitive behavioral first, and then the hypnosis is connected to the cognitive behavioral work. Yeah, it's great fun, and I feel so relaxed doing it.
I would like, I think so. In this time, the people have more attention about the behavior, the personal behavior. But
Yeah,
I think so. It's a very nice.
yeah.
It's best for the future, for the new generation too.
I think it is, and because I work predominantly in the corporate world, I'm noticing that businesses are paying more attention to psychological safety, being aware of toxic workplaces, toxic practices. It's a language that's becoming more commonplace, more used now, and more organizations are asking me about psychological safety and how to bring about a behavior that's conducive to that within the organization. And younger generations expect it. They expect and demand psychological safety within the workplace.
Lynda, who is your target audience?
I would say my executive coaching is international executives. My therapeutic practice is more local. So if you are an English speaking individual from the age of 16 to 106, you are my target audience. Um, you don't have to be a native English speaker, just have good enough English to be able to express your thoughts, your feelings to me, and to have me understand you.
Nice to know. I'm very curious about what motivated you to work in particular field and why.
Ooh, great question. Great question. I'm curious.
Ah, yeah.
I'm a really curious person. I think even since I was a child, I was always somebody who asked questions and listened a lot. I'm curious about people. I'm curious about why people do what they do. I'm curious about world politics. I'm curious about behavior. I'm curious about sport. I'm just curious about humanity in general. Um, I would like to see the world a better place. And I don't mean that from a philanthropic, altruistic viewpoint. I'm not that great a person. I just think as a human being, as a mother, we all have a responsibility to create a society that's a little bit better for the next generation. And I would like to be participant in that. So I think that's partly part of it. I also think I'm really good at what I do.
Yes, I think
I'm really good at what I
good,
do.
good to hear
Yeah.
that.
And that's kind of encouraging. Yeah.
Nice, it's nice. I love to speak with you.
I like to drink red wine with
Yeah.
you.
The other question I already have is how does it impact their working life?
Working with me,
Uh-huh.
I can only go by the progress I've seen with clients. Clients don't need me after they've worked with me. And that's really, really important because they take ownership of their mind and they take ownership of their own behavior. And that's a really good sign of good work. They're more confident, they're more capable, they're more reassured. But they can always check in with me at any point after working in with me. And I think that's a really good sign of the benefits that they have of working with me or any coach, not just me. Any coach with a good psychological background or a behavioral background will have impact. So I encourage you to get one today.
Oh. When do people know they need help?
It's a really tricky question because it really depends on the individual. Sometimes symptoms will show up physically in your
Okay.
body,
Yeah.
exhaustion, pains, um, weight gain that's difficult to explain, eczema, um, difficulty sleeping is a really, really clear indicator something is not right. Anxiety, sweating, being short tempered.
Ah,
The other thing that I encourage people to pay attention to is your internal language. How are you speaking to yourself about yourself? What type of confident language or lack of confident language are you using? How are you speaking to others? It's a really big indicator as to your stress levels and your pressure levels. And quite often we let it go too far before we do something, but it's never too late.
okay.
Okay. And I call my approach coaching.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel comfortable with the concept of therapy, I'm a coach. I'm an
Great.
International Coach Federation certified coach. Come to coaching.
Can you help me to understand about mindfulness and stress?
Mm. So there's a direct correlation between how stress can be improved through mindfulness practices. And it's about the brain, it's about neuroscience. Stress shows up here
Okay.
in the amygdala, in the limbic system. It's where our fight, flight, and freeze response is. It's where we feel threat. And that activates a nerve that goes right down through our body into every organ in our body. That's why our body shows stress.
Ah,
And mindfulness operates through the breath and our prefrontal cortex, which connects with a different nervous system, which
okay.
runs into every other organ in our body, which is the calming down nervous system. So the one connected to your limbic system operates adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormones. The one that operates here, the prefrontal cortex and the breath, and is instigated through mindfulness, operates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the calm system. So every time you use a mindfulness practice or a breathing practice, you are instigating relaxation into your body. And I use two mindfulness approaches in my particular professional approach. One is everyday mindfulness activities for my clients, because when you're in the office or in the workplace, you can't sit and
Yeah, exactly.
okay. So I teach my clients everyday mindfulness approaches and breathing. And then I also teach them something called progressive muscle relaxation practices, which they learn from me and record. And they learn to do it in such a way that all they have to do is this
Only this?
or this. You can't even see what I'm doing right now,
Uh-huh.
but it instigates the parasympathetic nervous system. I'm actually touching something right now that
Oh,
kicks in the parasympathetic nervous system, and you go into a mindful, relaxed state.
oh, nice. Nice to know.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Um, what do you think about the sport activities where your body is held to relax?
So important. So
Okay.
important because it releases endorphins, which is a really important hormone and neurochemical which goes into the body. It bypasses the limbic system unless you decide you're going to stress yourself through sport with unachievable things
Yes.
that you want to achieve, or you push your body through too much through the sport. But if you're feeling a sense of achievement through sport, you will release endorphins. And I personally am slightly lazy, but I go to the gym twice a week and I have a really good personal trainer. And after each session, I just feel because I've done it. And
Yes.
even if I find the session tough, I've done it and I feel great. That's endorphins being
Mm-hmm.
released. And I highly recommend sport to everybody. Choose your sport. Yoga is a sport.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't have to be marathon running. It can be simple and relaxed. It can be jazz dancing.
Yes. Yes.
You
Uh-huh.
know, it can be
Zumba.
dancing. It can be Zumba. It can
Uh-huh.
be Pilates.
Uh-huh.
It can be, I don't know, throwing darts.
Yeah, why not? I
Whatever is
love
your
that.
sport, once
Uh-huh.
there is some cardio and some endorphin release, that's all that really matters to get those endorphins flowing.
Fantastic. Very nice recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, I would like to invite you to share a message with our community,
Mm,
please.
okay. I actually think it's very simple to know what I would share. Two things that I say to my clients quite regularly. The first thing comes from Carl Rogers, who said, "Know yourself, and only then can you be true to yourself." So go inside and know who you are, and then be true to who that person is. And the second thing is be self-full. And what I mean by that is look after yourself, not selfish. Because when we're selfish, we look after ourselves at the expense of everyone else.
Mhm.
When we're selfless, we look after everyone else at the expense of ourselves. Be self-full. Look after yourself enough, well enough. Make sure you are full enough so that you can give to others. Yeah.
Nice, really nice. Thank you very much. Our interview is coming to the end. Oh, thank you again to be here with us today and for all the valuable insight you be share. We wish you a much success in your future plans.
Thank
All
you.
the best.
Thank you for a wonderful experience.
Thank you very much, Linda.
Gracias.